What's going on, people? I would like to welcome all of you to another Q11 edition of the Talk to Q radio show. My name is Quincy, and this is my show. And with the Q11s, what I like to do is interview people to expose my audience to new things. I talk to authors, entrepreneurs, entertainers, counselors, other podcasters, and sometimes just your everyday person who just has something to say about a particular topic. So it's an opportunity for you to get to know these people up and close and learn their story. What sparked the passion to choose a certain career, or what inspired them to write that book, or why is this person so opinionated about a particular topic? So just sit back and enjoy the show, and please be encouraged to share. A lot of my guests, much like myself, kind of do their thing by word of mouth. So the more that you share, like, or comment on a social media post, then the more you can help me grow the show. And it also gives more support to the people that I bring on the show who are looking to get their services, products, and talents out to the masses. So without further ado, let's get to the interview. What's going on, people? All right. I want to welcome all of you to another Q on One edition of the Talk to Q radio show. My name is Quincy, and this is my show. And remember, you can follow me on Instagram at Talk to Q. I would definitely love to hear from you. And we're going to have an interview today. We're going to discuss marriage. We're going to talk about wine. And I'll bring my guest on in just a moment. But before I get to her, let me go to a sponsor, and then we'll get ready to kick this thing off.
Do you love movies? Then subscribe to the Movie Buffer YouTube channel to get honest and insightful movie reviews along with interesting facts about the films. Join this interactive community where comments are welcome. Reviews on current, classic, and hidden gems are posted weekly. See you on the Movie Buffer.
All right. My thanks to the Movie Buffer for being down with T2Q. So let me go ahead and get to my guest. I've tried to get into wines before, but I just couldn't do it, So I invited someone on to help guide me a bit as I'll give it another go. She resides in the Magnolia State of Mississippi. Please welcome Meg, the TrillWineWife, to the Talk to Q radio show. Meg, what's happening?
Hi, how are you?
I am outstanding. All right, so I appreciate you joining the show. First things first, how did you get into wine in the first place? Let's start there.
I would have to say I'm originally from Richmond, Virginia, and so that is a big time like wine country, big area where you can get a lot of wine at. And I started going to vineyards and trying wine and going to wine festivals, and that's when I started to get a little bit more into it. I was already like drinking, so I was like, hey, let's add this in here to my drink repertoire. And I ended up starting to like it a lot. And I wanted to get some more information about it. So I'm the kind of person that when I have something that's great and everything, but then I also want the background story or the information about it, or just why it tastes this way or why it should smell this way. So I started getting into it, and that's how we got here.
All right, that's what's up, because exposing the wine culture to new people and making it more diverse is an excellent idea. So I think it's really great, because growing up, I never really saw a lot of wine drinking in my family or anything. It always seemed like it was something that was reserved for the rich. And so, I'm it's it's nice to see that just everyday people are kind of getting into it, not just for getting high, or anything like that, getting drunk, but because there's actually something they enjoy about it, the taste. They're becoming connoisseurs, so to speak. So what made you start the TrillWineWife on Instagram?
Well, at first it started as a family page called Odom Journey. Odom is our last name. And so my husband is a college basketball coach. So we've done a lot of traveling. We've done a lot of moving around. And so we were basically just telling the journey of our life and just different steps and different processes that we go through to kind of have some families or, parenting tips or anything of that nature. So just giving people like a reference. And then while we continue that page, I would always put wine on there, because when you're parenting, you always need something to kind of like relax, to kind of, put things together, because some days are, shit-tastic, okay? And then some days are great. So I have my moments. So basically, I would taste wine and I would pair it with everyday life. Like on my post, you'll see that I had a wine and I paired it with sixth grade homework and my toddler screaming at the TV and, something that was thrown on the wall or something, just everyday things that people could say, hey, I really deal with those things too. I can understand what you're saying. And so that kind of helped to kind of ease me on into the wine area. But other than that, yeah, we started as a family and we continue to do family things, marital advice. We do Just the Tip Tuesdays, which we will be getting back on that. But other than that, that's where it started. And then it started growing from there. And I started to meet people in the wine world. And it is becoming more diverse. So that's really helping me to meet others, for us to get out there. And I definitely keep it real on my page. No sugarcoating. I'm very blunt, but I'm very loving and honest. But I got to keep it real with you.
That's pretty cool. And then, also when you're kind of like when you're a wine enthusiast, it also keeps people from calling you a drunk. So that's a good thing as well. It's
Yeah,
like
I
I'm
guess
not
that
a
helps too,
drunk,
right?
I'm an enthusiast. So we're going to do a virtual wine tasting, and you've recommended a few wines to me. All of them were Black owned, and I was
Yes.
able to get my hands on two of them. And we decided to go that route, to celebrate it's the last day of Black History Month. So that was a
Yes.
dope idea on your part. And now, as far as the wine itself, I guess we'll get to it in a second. One of them is a red wine, and I have it breathing right now. So it's doing its thing. And we also have a rosé.
Yes.
And I mean, so what's the protocol for tasting wine? I mean, I am I supposed to sniff it and say something in French, or ooh wee wee, or I mean, as a rookie, what would I need to know in order to get into the wine game? I mean, is it expensive to buy in, first of all?
Well, as a rookie, I would say drink what tastes good. Okay. Don't try to be like other people and try to look at things at how they're doing it. Do it how you want to. Make wine for yourself. You're basically taking the wine and getting the things that you like out of it. If you like sweet wine, okay. If you like wine with heavy tannins, great. If you like a big Napa cab, of course that's fine too. But just to start off, it can be expensive, but the way my mom budget is set up, it's not. My, my husband will be like, "Oh, did you buy some wine this week?" Yes, but I kept it under budget. I got 12 bottles, like under $200. Like, so with you,
Okay.
I would say when you go to the store, if you're trying to expand your palate, I would get a white wine, a rosé, some
Mm-hmm.
bubbles, and a red. And then, just get those four. And then maybe in a couple more weeks, you said, oh, I like this one. Let's look at more in this variety, like a Sauvignon Blanc or a Riesling, just depending on what tastes good to you. If it's sweet, if it's sour, up to you. But when purchasing, I try to just stay under budget. I don't go wine shopping every week. And in the great state of Mississippi, you can't get wine shipped here. So you basically
Mm,
have to find what you can find locally, which was
yeah.
also a big thing when we were talking about finding Black owned wines, because it's readily available here. So
Cool.
that's something that I would definitely want to see more of, because that would be a big help, to also include, diversity. And, you want to get it all around the world to be able to try something you've never tried before by somebody that's like you. So back to trying. When tasting your wine, you're going to smell it. You can smell it. You can smell different aromas. Sometimes it'll be fruit forward. When it's fruit forward, that doesn't mean it's necessarily sweet. That means that
Mm-hmm.
it has a lot of fruity components in that. And then after you smell it, you'll, like in this one, whenever you decide to pour it, we can do it together if you want to. But
Okay. Which one do you
basically,
have there?
I have the rosé.
All right. So we'll start with the rosé.
Okay.
And the
Yeah.
rosé you recommended is called Love
Love.
Drunk. If you all can see the label there. And can you tell us a little bit about this?
Yes. So this wine is by Maison Noir. It is an Andre Mac wine, a Black-owned winemaker. He's very good. He makes a variety of different wines. So this is a rosé, and it's about 13.1%. I do say to have this chilled, only because it's a rosé. It's very easy drinking. It's beautiful. The color, you can see like the color. It's beautiful. Yeah. So I have a 2019. It's from Oregon. And they make some really good wines there. They're known for their Pinot Noir as well. So this one should be pretty fruity, fruit forward, but not sweet. It might have a little bit of sweetness on the end of it when you taste those strawberries, or, a little bit of raspberry, a little bit of vanilla. But this is a good, easy drinking wine that I would say around spring or summer. If you're like me, I drink rosé any time of year, but
All right. Well, let me pour a little bit of this. You sound like you know what you're talking about. And so, I got my glass here. And I'm really not sure how much to pour. Isn't there like a certain etiquette to how much you pour?
Well, etiquette would say, if I was talking to my sommelier mentor, he would tell me, oh, just pour 4 seconds. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's not enough. But for tasting, we're going to do this little bit, and then we can really get into it.
Oops, I think I got this little bit.
Yep, so. That works. Cheers.
All right, so you said I need to smell it?
Yes. So we're going to smell it. So I smell strawberries. I smell a little bit of cherry, like red cherries.
Yeah.
Smell a little bit of sweetness. A little bit of honey, maybe some honeysuckle. And a light, like a tart, maybe a lime or a lemon, but it's very faint. So that's what I smell on the nose.
Okay. And hold on, I missed the cheers. Let's do the cheers again. I missed that.
Cheers!
There we go. All right. Do I need to stick my pinky out? Do I need to stick my pinky out to be?
You want to be fancy. You super fancy when you pinky out.
Okay.
But you do want to hold your glass by the stem. So like when you're doing wine, so you don't heat up your wine with your hand like this. Stains or anything. You're able to see it better. You want to be real fancy. Hold it by your little stem.
Okay. Let's see.
Okay.
All right. So tell me what I'm tasting. Okay, you can put it in the words.
Right. So I do still taste those hints of citrus. I do taste the strawberries. A little bit of cherry. Definite tart. I would say medium acidity, which is telling you that when your mouth is watering, so you should feel like a little bit of mouth watering after you swallow. You feel it? Yes, that tells you about the acidity. The weight on your tongue, does it feel light, soft? Does it feel like a big, heavy, and it shouldn't. It should be very light because it's a rose. It doesn't have tannins in it, so it should be very light. Medium acidity. And a little bit of grapefruit.
I can get a little bit of that. Yeah. Actually, I can get a lot more now that you've mentioned it.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
And it's pretty. It's a light alcohol, so it's about 13.1%. So which isn't bad. It's good for rosé. Very easy drinking.
It's nice.
Glass. Yeah, you can definitely keep going.
Okay, I like this. This is pretty good.
Good.
So what's the shelf life on a rosé? Like once you open it, you have to kill the bottle after a certain period of time, or?
Well, with lighter wines, you can put them in the refrigerator and they'll last a little bit longer. I usually keep this cap on, but you can use like a vacuum seal cap, and I can actually forward that to you. I usually get my caps off at Amazon. But you can leave this in the refrigerator for a couple of days. Like I would say 3 days, but the way that we drink, this is going to be gone today, or in the next couple of hours or hour. So not too much saving around here, but yes, with that you can definitely save. Red wines you can save with a vacuum top, but I would definitely say to put them in the refrigerator to have that lasting a little bit longer if you want to, keep hold of that.
All right, sounds good. I'm gonna pour a little bit more.
Yay! Pour up.
And so while we're sipping,
Yes.
and I can also bounce a few things off of you because this is a talk show that loves to talk about relationships.
Yeah.
And you've been married. And now, how long have you been married?
We've been married almost. My husband like pointed like, "Don't mess this up." We've been married
Look at you
almost 4
stalling.
years. I'm the one that forgets like the dates and years and times, and he's like so on it, and I'm really bad with it. But we've been married almost 4 years, and we've known each other since we were 14 years old. We weren't dating that, but we've always been best friends. We met in high school. So we continued through the years to be best friends, and then eventually, like later on in life, like after our situations and relationships and everything, you know, we realized that this is something we probably need to try out. So we did, and it was very successful. Married and 2 kids later.
Cool. Okay. All right. Sounds like a little love story, like a Hallmark movie or something.
Oh, there's definitely some bumps and rocks and mountains in that. Okay, wasn't that
okay?
Easy?
A Lifetime movie. A Lifetime movie. Hopefully, no burning beds involved.
Yeah, that's with rosé and not with hard liquor. Okay, give me a couple shots. We can really get something out of me.
All right, so, you know, you have a husband, you have 2 kids, and you have wine, and managing all of that probably takes some practice, I'm sure. So, does structure allow you to keep your household together, or do you just kind of get it how you live and squeeze in time for the husband here, or time for the kids here, and wine there? How do you do it?
I kind of wing it. I would like to say that I have a plan, and you know, I do things this way and everything. And I always try to, like at the beginning of the week, I'm like, hey, this is what I'm going to cook for this week. This is what we're going to do this week. This is your homework. This is my homework. This is your stuff. This is my stuff. You know, and that would be perfect. But the way our life is set up, that doesn't work out like that. So we kind of just do whatever comes at the time of coming. So I, with my page, I do like a couple of posts a week, just depending, but I like to like interact. So usually in the morning, I will do like a couple of stories. We'll do some pictures and stuff. And then as far as the kids, my daughter will go to school. She comes home, we'll do homework. And then she has a tutor, which is her godmother. And then my toddler, there's no structure. He just runs around. And especially with the pandemic, it definitely has been different. There is no time for myself at all. So I feel like after the kids have gone to bed, you have that nice glass of wine. It's like, okay, this is a little bit of my time if I don't fall asleep. But if it's a crazy day, I'm definitely popping the cork at my 5 p.m. happy hour, because that is my happy hour. I'm the happiest at that hour.
So as far as marriage itself, you hear people say that marriage is hard. All right. And I mean, that can mean a number of things, but in your opinion, do you think marriage is really hard?
Marriage has its times where it's hard. And I would say the hardest parts are when it comes to what was at the beginning, when it came to finances, communication, just trusting, loyalty, all of those different things. Because when you're starting in a relationship, it's not like you're going to give them all this information. You're going to talk about things here and there and everything. You're dating, you're taking things slow, you know, seeing how things go. And, you know, you're waiting for the ring and things go from there. But when you're in a marriage, we need to talk about this credit score. We need to fix this. We need to build up our 5, 10, 15-year plan. You know, we have kids.
Mm-hmm.
So all of those things combined into one. Of course, the first year is kind of, you know, it's a little crazy because you're getting used to that person. You're getting used to telling them everything. You're putting them as your emergency contact on your doctor appointments. It's no longer mom or dad. It's your husband, you know, keeping your husband first, learning that it's a we, not just me. So those are things that you kind of take into account when you're in a marriage, especially in a committed, a good, healthy marriage. Yeah, you're going to have your times. Yeah, you're going to have your issues, but you talk about it. And that's really big for me and my husband as far as being in a committed, positive relationship is our communication. I can tell him anything, and I mean anything. Okay. So when it comes to the point where there's a break in communication, that's when, you know, we'll have a problem or like a little argument, because I'm the person that argues. He won't argue. He'll be like, okay, baby, you're right. Happy wife, happy life. motto. So he knew that. But usually if we had like something that we didn't communicate about or something, we'll sit down, we'll have a shot, we'll relax a little bit and not get into your feelings, talk about what's going on, and then we can work on that, move on. So just working together, communicating, having that trust, being loyal to your partner, and also don't let everybody else in on your relationship. Your mom and your daddy don't need to comment on what's going on in your house. This is
Amen to
our
that.
house. We start off here first. If there's something beyond us that we can't handle, then let's figure that out. But no, we keep it here.
That makes a lot of sense, and I agree with you on all of that. And I mean, so why do you think people don't want to get married these days? I mean, everybody wants a wedding, but nobody wants to get married.
Right. I think it's just people are not very trusting. I think it's come to the point where, first of all, it's really hard to date. It's really hard to keep somebody's attention, especially when it comes to social networks and stuff like that. There's so many like models and all these girls with these big asses and like all this
Right.
make believe and all these weaves and making stuff. As you can see, I'm in mom life, mom gear all the time, so I just come as I am. But there's different things that are outside of a relationship that kind of like interfere with what's going on. And then I think that a lot of times people that are single get advice from other people that are single, and that's not going to help you in a relationship. You can't get guidance from somebody that's going through the same thing as you because they're in the same boat as you. How is this helping you? So I think it's that. I think it's social networks. I think it's, there's this certain mentality that, oh, I don't need a man. But then when you kind of like dog them out, or you possibly look back at things that happened in your past and kind of judge it on that, and you kind of cut people off, or it has to be some type of communication. And I'm not saying that it's easy, because there's a lot of loyal men, there's a lot of loyal women out here that will date somebody and will look at a plan as to being with them or being married to them or anything like that, having kids with them. But it just really, it's really about your mindset and where you are in life. You might not be ready for a relationship or a marriage, and you think you are, but you're not. Or, that you just gotta be able to talk to that one person. Don't cheat on them. Don't go stepping out with somebody else or anything like that. But I definitely think it's this era. We can just be together for years. Now, marriage is a wonderful thing. It can be beautiful. It can be wonderful. It can be amazing. But it's how you make it, how you're learning, how you're preparing yourself, and how you're making sure, again, that those outside factors are not affecting what's going on.
All right. So here's a personal question. What made you want to get married?
Wow, there's so many different things. I have been married twice.
Okay.
So the first time was
loved it that much, huh?
Dud. I act like it never happened. Act like it never happened. It was complete dud. Let's just scratch that off. I don't even know what that is. But
okay.
The second time, which is with my best friend, I didn't think that I would want to get married again after that first time because I was young. My first marriage, I was 21.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes, it was very young. There's a lot of things that he needed to learn and grow up from. And it wasn't a good relationship. It was, a terrible relationship. So ended up getting out of that. And mind you, divorce costs a hell of a lot. I will never do that again. So this one's stuck for life. He don't got no choice because I'll cut him. But
it's cheaper.
But it's a feeling. It's not like I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna get married to this person. I'm gonna get married in this certain amount of time or anything like that. It was just a feeling. Like I knew this is what I want. I knew this was what I wanted, what I desired, what I loved. I felt like I couldn't live without him. I felt like life didn't seem normal without him. Like he was my person. He was my person to be with me, to help me, to guide me, for us to work together, to be together forever. I couldn't imagine not being with him, not taking his last name, not starting a family. It was just, when you have women's intuition, and that was definitely something that was right on point because I did damn good this time.
You got it right, huh?
Wiped him up. I got to snag that one. He's a unicorn. I had to snag him.
That's good. I think that's great. And so I want to taste the next wine if
Yes,
that's all
yes,
right.
please do.
And
Yeah.
all right, so this one is called, ironically, here we are talking about marriage and everything, and this is called OPP.
Yep. Other people's Pinot. So this is a Pinot Noir. You're gonna get some raspberries, some cherries, a little bit of tannin. It's a lighter red wine, so it's not as heavy as a Cabernet, but it's a little bit
Okay.
lighter. Um, you will taste the dryness on your tongue once you have sipped it, but you will smell that fruit out of the glass, a little bit of tobacco, um, and just see how it is. It's definitely an opposite from rosé, but it's a good wine to just sip on, to pair steak and potatoes with, or any of your favorites, any like kind of heavy, nice, rich, hearty meals. That's a good one to sip on.
Okay. Now, do I need to do anything as far as cleansing my palate in between wines, or I
Well,
mean, is it not
we've
that
had some time.
serious?
If you want to clean it with some water, cool. You'll definitely taste the difference. Don't worry about that.
Why'd you frown up at the word water? What's water's a good
You know,
thing.
it's yeah, water's good sometimes.
See,
Not today,
you can tell
but sometimes.
a wine enthusiast, because it's like water, water. Okay,
Hard seltzers, water, bubbles and water with alcohol in it. Yes.
all right. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour the OPP. Yeah, you know me.
Yes. You got that.
Yeah, I had to get that in. All right, I'll just pour a little bit of this.
Yes. And this is by the same winemaker, black owned.
Okay.
Very good wine.
Now with the red wines, can you hold it from the bottom? Does it make a difference since it's room temperature, or
Yeah,
because you're
we're
not
still gonna
supposed
do
to
the same.
chill?
Yeah, I
Okay, the
mean, you don't
stem.
want like hot. You don't want oil on your glass. You want to be able to see clearly. I want to be able to see through it.
Okay, okay. I mean, teach me something. All right, and you're not supposed to chill red wine at all, right? It should always be at room
Well,
temperature.
with red wine, you can do it room temperature. Sometimes if you want to chill it just a little bit, you can do that. Like put it in the refrigerator for like 15 or 20 minutes, and just have a little bit of chill on it. That's fine too. That's the way my husband prefers it. I'm good
Yeah.
with room temperature, but it's always good. Yeah, just don't add any ice. You're gonna change the flavor. It's gonna dilute it. Don't want to do
That
that.
almost seems hood to add ice to wine.
People do it.
Really? That
You'll
sounds
be
like something I'd
surprised.
see in a Wayans movie or something. Okay. So I will go ahead and take a sip of this, and
Yes.
I have someone with me who's taking
Oh
sips
yes.
as well, and yeah, she seems to be enjoying it. All right, so let me try it.
Oh good. Hey girl.
All right, so since I have no idea what I'm talking about, but I'll just tell you that
Yes.
it's smooth. It doesn't have any bite
Yes.
whatsoever, and hold on. I like it, but tell me what I'm tasting.
So you're gonna taste some raspberries, some dark red cherries. You're gonna taste a little bit of tobacco and vanilla. Only because of the way it's aged. It's a
Hmm.
very good, easy sipping wine, but it's not as strong as a Cabernet. When I said that, when you're sipping it, and you know how sometimes when you get a strong, heavy, big, bold red wine, you'll like tense up a little bit. You'll be like trying to squeeze it down. But this
Hmm.
is very smooth where the tannins aren't as high, which is that
Yeah.
gives you that strong feeling. So it's very smooth to drink, and then when you're eating with food, it goes down so easy. Like it pairs so well with your meals. So that is something you're definitely, and even if you are a cigar smoker, to pair that with a cigar is very good as well.
Ah, okay. See, I've been dabbling in cigars lately, and
Oh
so
good.
maybe I
Oh
need to try it.
yes,
Maybe
that
I
would
need to
be really good.
try it. And I see it's
Yes.
13.9% alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And
So it's
what food would you
mhm,
recommend you pair with this?
steak. Um
Steak. There we go.
Steak, prime rib, a roast, some spinach, asparagus. You know, something that's going to fill you up, a good hearty meal. Even chili, if you want to do something with like chili with some meat in that, or if you don't want to do meat in
Chili?
that, that's fine. But that would be really good with that. Yes.
Huh. Never considered chili and wine. It just
Yes.
chili seems so hearty and lumberjackish,
Mm-hmm.
and wine is so dainty and okay.
So dainty.
Yeah, yeah. All right, but no, I like this. I'm and trust me, I'm not one to just say I like something because I'm on the air. If I don't like something,
Right.
I would definitely say it.
Oh yeah,
And
definitely.
I've been trying to do better about wines
Mm-hmm.
and at least try them because at first I just didn't want to fool with it, didn't like the taste of it. But over time, I've because I there's so many different types of wines. I've
Right.
tried different ones, and I'm like, okay, well, I can rock with this one.
Mm-hmm.
Like with the 19 Crimes, there's
Mm-hmm.
one that I like. I don't remember which one it is. I think it's the one with the guy committed bigamy. So anyway, you know,
19 crimes.
yeah. So I kind of like that, and now with this what's his name? Mason. What's the Mason Noir
Yes, it's Mason
wines?
Noir is the name of the brand, and then Andre's
Yeah.
Mac is the one. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm feeling it now. Of course, these are a little pricier than some of the other wines I've seen
Yeah.
because I think the Love Drunk was like $25 and the OPP
Yeah.
was like 21. But
Yes.
really, price doesn't matter when it comes to wine, right? I mean, you can find a good $7 wine or a good $50 bottle, right?
Absolutely. I can absolutely send you a budget friendly mom list of wines that are under $20, and then I can also send you from 25 to 30. But I usually typically when buying a wine to drink during the week or on the weekends, I really don't go over $30. Now, if we're celebrating or something like that, I'm gonna, pull out the bad boys. But other than that, we can definitely find plenty of wines in a good price range.
All right. So what's your favorite wine? Do you have one?
I knew you were gonna ask me that. um, it's so hard because I have so many, but I will say I am a big Zinfandel fan. It's
Okay.
There's a Zinfandel I like by Cigar. It's very good. It's very juicy. It's jammy. It's bold. It's like a black woman, bold, beautiful, badass.
Mm.
All
All
those
right.
different things all in one. She thick. Okay, I love her. So that is one of my favorites. Cigar Zinfandel is my one of my favorites. Also, Andre Mac has put out a Cabernet Sauvignon, which I can't find in Mississippi right now because they're having some issues with the shipping of that wine to all stores, which is kind of crazy. It's called In Sheep's Clothing. That is a fantastic Cabernet Sauvignon. I really like that. And then I'm a big Riesling fan as well. So German Rieslings, they are a little bit lighter in alcohol. They have a hint of sweetness to them. It's not as high acidity as your rosé or your Sauvignon Blancs, but Riesling is a good porch pounding drink. It has like pears and peaches and apples, but most of the time, like it's like 10%. 11%. So it's something you
Yeah.
can drink during the day and kind of sip on it, but it's very good. So I will definitely message you those so you can check those out. We're going to expand your palate for sure.
All right. Sounds good. Yeah, I know you mentioned the In Sheep's Clothing and the horseshoe and hand grenades. I
Yeah.
think you mentioned that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And Black Girl Magic Wine by the McBride sisters. It's really hard to find in Mississippi once again, but I
Yeah.
think when I go to Memphis, I'll definitely grab you a couple bottles so you can try those. I'll
Stop
definitely
it.
bring those.
So you're trying to spoil me.
Yes, for real.
Okay.
So good. You got to try it. We got to get you on.
All right. That sounds great. And see, I can tell you know your stuff because like
Oh,
I don't know alcohol like that. I'm kind of a social drinker.
mm-hmm.
I mean, alcohol can stay in my cabinet for years, okay? And
Damn, not us.
I yeah, I have found a bottle of I think it was Crown Royal or something, unopened. It was in the box, unopened, and the box just sat there, and I just never thought to look in it to see if anything was in it. And it had been there probably about, I don't know, 20 years or so. So
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
But I'm not an alcohol connoisseur, so to speak.
Uh-huh.
I can tell you about sodas. Now, if you want to know about
Yeah.
sodas, like Coca-Cola, it'll make you burp. All right. Pepsi is sweet and it'll make you burp. Okay. So that's kind of like my lane of expertise, so to speak. But okay, all
Right.
right, back to the marriage. I think this wine is getting to me. All right, back to the marriage
Yeah,
thing.
you feeling it.
A marriage is a partnership. Yet, so many people these days seem to want to put forth an effort to not, but they don't want to put forth the effort to be a good partner. I would say people are selfish and they're encouraged more and more these days, thanks to a lack
Yeah.
of quality parenting and social media's perpetuation of ignorance. You
Yeah.
hear words like sacrifice and submission when it comes to marriage. Do you feel as if marriage is really a sacrifice, or that submissiveness relegates you to being some sort of domestic slave or something?
No, I don't think that. It depends on your relationship. I think some men do feel that way, and some women do feel that way only because maybe their situation or the lifestyle that they live. I feel like there is a point where sometimes a man or a woman can kind of pull that card and say, you know, we're married, we're in a relationship, you're supposed to be submissive to me, you're supposed to do this. And I definitely think in some ways that you need to be submissive, but in a lot of ways it's a partnership. So even though my husband is the head of the house, he's the head that runs things, but I am the neck that moves it. We live by guidance, we live by influence, you know, so we help each other. There's a lot of times where I might not know the answer, or I might want him to head up on that answer, or to figure that out, and that's only because he's the head of the household and you respect him as that. He's the provider, he is the father, he is the husband. Let him do his thing, that's fine, but he knows to not do things without asking or without talking about it. So I don't think that it's being submissive. I think that it's creating a partnership where you know your strengths and weaknesses. My husband's great at doing clothes, washing, drying, folding up and hanging and clothes. I'm terrible at it. Everything will be pink, purple, or whatever color was in there. But we know this is strengths and weaknesses. I'm the better cook, but he can also fry. But he knows on those days I'm having a rough day and I really just need a break, he'll cook, or he sees those things. But when you're in a relationship, you kind of start to see certain things that are his strengths, your weaknesses, his weaknesses, and it's all about like understanding that person, you know, and don't be upset about something. I mean, you can be upset, of course, but take that time to understand why they're upset. Take that time to move on to the next thing. Like, let's find out what's going on. Let's talk about it and move on. A lot of people will have an issue and not talk about it and kind of just move on. They'll end up just having sex and just moving on. Just whatever, we'll talk about it later. Don't sweep those things under the rug because they're going to come up. That's important. So I really think that it's not about submission. It's definitely about a partnership, and it's just certain things that your husband might be better at, your wife might be better at. Let them head up on that project. Don't make it seem like, oh, I have to do this because that's my husband. I mean, if you don't want to do it, explain to your husband why, but don't make it awkward or something that later on in life is going to come and bite you in the ass.
Right, right. All right. Sounds like good stuff to me. And so we'll get ready to wrap things up. But if you don't mind, I mentioned earlier, this is the end of Black History Month, and so again, I think it's really cool to find Black people interested in things that back in the day people may have considered reserved for white people. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those things being, you know, a wine connoisseur, so to speak. So if you could
Yes.
talk to the people just for a second, let them know why it's important that we're diverse as far as some of the things we partake in, because things shouldn't be relegated to just one race. I mean, it should be
Yes.
for everybody.
Yes. Yes. Um, so to everybody, I feel like if there's something that you want to do, don't let anything hold you back, especially when it comes to something that it might not be as many Black people, as many diverse backgrounds in that. Go ahead and take the chance. Be that person to bring that out. There's not one person that can tell you no. You can continue, you can figure out a way, you can research about it, and you can make it your own way. There's a lot of times in wine that it used to be a white male business. I mean, that's normal. So for women to get in it, it's great. But for Black women to get into this, learning how to do things your way, there's a lot of things that I do that is not the way that other people do it. I don't sip pretty. I don't sit there and hold my bottle perfectly with, flowing hair and doing all these different things. Be yourself. Be true to yourself. And you can do so many things. And there's other little people looking up to you. So therefore, be that person that they look up to. Why not put yourself in a situation where you are? I also have a health science degree. I'm almost finishing with my master's with healthcare administration. And,
Cool.
There's a lot of white people in that area. We're trying to bring that background into different avenues. Why not put yourself in there and be that first person to start a trend? Be that trend.
All right.
And cheers to that.
No doubt. And for the people who are listening and not watching this on Facebook Live or YouTube Live, I was taking a sip just then. That's why we had to silence. A matter of fact, if you're listening, any silence you hear, I'm drinking. Okay. All right, Meg, let the people know where they can find you. Where can they find you online and connect with you?
Yes, you guys can find me on Instagram at TrillWineWife. TrillWine, wife, WIFE. I don't have a Facebook right now, but I'm also on an Amazon storefront under the same name, and TikTok under Muva, MUVA, MEGB. So it's Muva Meg B. We do a lot of fun stuff on there too, so you guys can follow along with us.
All right, cool. Okay. And TrillWineWife, you want to tell everybody where the name came from right quick?
Sure. Trill means real, honest. I'm keeping it real. Wine, because wine is what I love and it's what I do, okay? And wife, because I am definitely married and my husband don't want any of these men sliding in my DMs.
Not bad. I get it. I totally get it.
So always keep it trill, keep it real. Drink what you want, when you want, how you want, and always savor it to the last drop.
Nice. Well, Meg, I truly appreciate you taking the time to join this Q-on-1 edition of the Talk to Q Radio show. I hope we can do it again someday with a couple more bottles of wine. Maybe even do it in person. Maybe I can get my studio set up one day and we can all
I would love to
get in together, bring your husband over, and we all sip around and
I will bring
have a good time.
The papers to you. We will be there.
All right. Sounds good. And like I said, I definitely appreciate you taking the time on this easy Sunday afternoon. I wanted to do the show outside because it was nice and sunny. It was a little breezy, and I was going to sit on my porch, but I don't know. It just my Wi-Fi speeds significantly dropped outside, so
no.
I had to bring it back in. But at some point, I don't know. I'll get all that figured out. Because when springtime rolls around, I'm gonna want to get outside, enjoy the sun a little bit, and sip on maybe this Love Drunk or this OPP that you recommended to me.
You're gonna be absolutely drunk in love, okay?
All right, so I appreciate her, and my thanks to all of you. If you watched on Facebook Live or YouTube, and thank you. If you're listening, then you can always go to talktoq.com and watch the video if you want to see what the labels look like on these wines that she suggested. Please be sure to subscribe to the show wherever you get it, wherever you can get it. And leave a review if you don't mind, or some type of rating, because doing so kind of helps me climb the charts. It helps with my exposure. You can find all things T2Q at talktoq.com. So everyone enjoy the rest of your day